Okay, guys. Looks like I'm live. Anyway, I wanted to give you 7 tips today about writing. And I'm not saying I'm very good at writing, but I do have some observations. The first one would be that you have to start writing in order to be a writer. A creative one at that. And actually, to be a creative writer involves a lot of practice, a lot more being intimate with the process and the material that you're vying against, especially if you want to be published. So being a reader and a writer very much helps. The second part to that equation, very early on, you're going to probably think that your stuff sucks. And many people still think their stuff sucks, even to this day. And usually that means that you're on a good track to having a decent novel, according to William Gibson. But to be honest, if you think your stuff sucks, keep writing anyway. Otherwise, you're never going to get it published. A lot of people actually never get published because they think that they have no talent and they will never see their books in stores or enjoy commercial success. But I can tell you guys, if Twilight can make some money, well, I'm sure you can too. The third thing is to frame the house and furnish it later. That's kind of just a little thing that I say. What I mean by that is to describe scenes and settings in a vague manner, and then you can add in more detail as warranted. Just what you want to do, especially when you first start writing, is just to get the gist down of what's going on. You don't want to spend all this time going into garish detail and all this background information. You just want to get the gist down. You want to set the scene, set the settings, set the people up, and do just various basic stuff. Kind of like frame wire in CGI animation. Once you have the basics down, you can go down later and expand. The fourth one is kind of similar. You're going to be specific, but you're going to stay vague. So you want to be assertive of the world your characters live in, but stay vague about anything that isn't pertinent to the story unless it makes great atmospheric filler. And the reason I say that is you can go into all kinds of great detail about everything that might exist in your characters' lives and in the scene that you're writing. But if it's not pertinent, it's going to get boring. You can utilize some interesting facts. You can go on about Pangalactic snorkel blasters, or how a towel can help you out, various other things like that. You could do some fun little fillers, but if you just write tombs and tombs of information, a lot of people are going to get bored. And while your name might be recognized, I'm sure that a lot of readers out there may just never finish your books, even if they buy them. I'm talking to you, Neil Stephenson. The fifth one is don't back yourself into a corner you can't write out. And what I mean by that is kind of like the same thing as with how Sherlock Holmes was brought back to life. The dude figured it out. If all your I's and T's are dotted and crossed and everything, you might have trouble shifting the storyline later on. Let's say that you have a brilliant idea, or perhaps you just think that it's not working out the way it's going. So you're going to go back and change something later, or even just start writing your characters in a different manner. Well, if you do that, and everything comes unhinged, then you've kind of blown the whole project. You might have to just go through and retrofit everything. So if you keep yourself open to what might occur and kind of keep an open mind and stay vague and stay simple, then again, after you've framed the house, you can go back and build it later and have no trouble retrofitting ideas, if that makes any sense. The sixth element of my ability to somehow be creative at times would be to always keep a notepad close by. And I mean this because even though I've got computers and laptops and all of this stuff, nothing compares to sometimes picking up a pen and just writing something out. But also, let's say you're in bed and you wake up spontaneously from a dream, or you're in bed and you have this great thought, or you're watching TV or what have you. So it's always nice to have just a notepad and a pen handy. Something like this, you know, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, just something cheap as heck that you can scrawl something down in. For example, here's one I thought of the other day, and I kept it vague and short and sweet, and this probably sounds sillier than it should, but I still wrote it down. So, animals speak an African language endangered by rainforest deforestation. What that means to me is I can write a short story about how only animals speak this language by the Africans, or the Africans speak a language by all animals, and they're being endangered by the rainforest being destroyed. So that's a very crackpot idea, but if I didn't write down crackpot ideas, I wouldn't have a pool of crackpot ideas to weed out, you know, actual good ideas. So it's always good to exercise your mind and to write down something that you think maybe it might come in handy sometime. The seventh one, the last one, is to always take critiques equally. If you don't take critiques equally and you end up with either a inflated sense of ego or a deflated sense of self, you're just not going to make it. Some people can have an inflated sense of ego and still make tons of money. There's been lots of them. Lucas, you know, Lucas Arts and George Lucas and Star Wars and all that stuff. That guy made plenty of money, and he's crazy as hell. So you can certainly do it. Mel Gibson, another example. But what you want to do is strike an equal balance and stay humble. Be appreciative of people that like your stuff, but also be on the lookout for things that people believe you can improve upon, because guess what, man, nobody knows how to write. It's all about just getting down, practicing, setting up some sort of structure and balance, and hoping for the best. And the best thing about writing for me is just being able to show people what I do, have them comment, collaborate, and learn from each other. Anyways, that's my 7 tips, and I will talk to you later.